From the quiet cobblestone streets of a small Slovenian town, a young girl with a burning ambition dreamed of a life beyond the horizon. Imagine her world. Communist Yugoslavia, a modest apartment splashed with color against the drab concrete, whispered prayers in a society that discouraged faith. This was Melania's childhood, a tapestry woven with both beauty and hardship. Who could have predicted her extraordinary journey to the heart of New York's dazzling fashion scene, a whirlwind romance with a billionaire, and ultimately, the unexpected role of First Lady of the United States? But the public persona is just the surface. Behind the glamorous facade, a hidden story unfolds, a story of resilience, quiet defiance, and a relentless pursuit of her own unique path. What secrets lie beneath the surface? What drove her from a communist childhood to the global stage? Stay with us and uncover the untold story of Melania Trump. In the quiet folds of Sevnica, a sleepy Slovenian town nestled along the winding banks of the Sava River, Melania Trump entered the world on a cool April morning, April 26, 1970. The town itself was a study in contrasts. Ancient stone bridges and modern industrial sounds clashed with the gentle murmur of a river that had witnessed centuries of change. Even as a baby, Melania's destiny was painted in bold strokes. In a modest apartment within a state-owned housing block, the family's life was a collage of quiet defiance and daily resilience. Her mother, Amalia, worked long hours in the Traka factory, her fingers deftly cutting fabric and sewing patterns for children's clothing destined for far-off parts of Yugoslavia. The rhythmic hum of the factory mingled with the sound of Amalia's whispered prayers, a secret nod to the faith that the state had long tried to silence. Meanwhile, Victor, her father, began his working life behind the wheel of a rugged truck that ferried goods along the rough roads of a country in transition. Later, he shifted to selling auto parts, a job subtly buoyed by the murky affiliations of the League of Communists, a connection that placed the Knez family a few notches above the mundane drabness of everyday life. In those early days, the apartment was more than just a shelter. It was a small universe of hope and quiet rebellion. Colorful splashes of yellow, red, and green, applied by Amalia's steady hand, broke the monotony of concrete, turning their home into a private gallery of dreams. Religion, though officially frowned upon by the regime, seeped into the cracks of their daily routine. Melania and her older sister, Inez, were baptized in secret, their rituals hidden away in whispered conversations and furtive glances at the priest who risked much to offer comfort in the shadows. A mysterious half-brother, a remnant of Victor's earlier life, lingered as an unspoken legend, a phantom presence that would haunt Melania's imagination and remind her of the tangled threads of family and fate. The little girl grew up amidst both the beauty and the hardships of Sevnica. Amalia's factory shifts left behind pockets of fabric that soon became the raw material for Melania's first experiments in needlework. Sitting cross-legged on a cool, worn floor, she would meticulously thread a needle under her mother's patient tutelage. Each clumsy stitch was a step toward a future where creativity was both a comfort and a rebellion. Local fashion shows, held in the drafty halls of community centers, became her first stage. With borrowed dresses and homemade dreams, she learned to carry herself with a confidence that belied her humble beginnings, a spark of ambition that would grow into a blazing desire to transcend her origins. School was both a sanctuary and a battleground for the young Melania. Her keen mind shone in the classroom, where she not only mastered arithmetic and literature, but also learned the art of subtle leadership as the treasurer on the student board. The crisp pages of her ledger, filled with careful calculations, seemed to mirror the precision she later applied to her designs. With each passing year, the constraints of Sevnica began to feel more like a temporary prologue. The family's modest fortunes improved enough to trade their cramped state-owned block for a small two-story house on the outskirts of town. From its windows, she gazed out at endless fields that rolled toward the horizon, a vista that promised a world beyond the familiar banks of the Sava. By the mid-1980s, as CNN's crackling broadcasts reached the remote corners of Yugoslavia, a new world began to unfold before her eyes. The images of American presidents and Hollywood glamour were more than just distant entertainments. They were windows into a land where possibility was measured not in scarcity, but in ambition. Young Melania, legs tucked beneath her on a worn sofa, would watch intently as the screen lit up with the charismatic voice of Ronald Reagan, the epitome of a promise to a better life. This exposure fanned the flames of her own dreams, a longing to step out of the small-town narrative and embrace a destiny that spanned continents. At 15, that yearning crystallized into a bold decision. She enrolled in a high school for design and photography in Ljubljana, Slovenia's bustling capital. Each morning, as the train chugged through landscapes veiled in early mist, she filled the hours with sketches and ideas, dress designs that melded tradition with modernity, photographs that captured fleeting moments of urban beauty. In Ljubljana, she was not merely a student. She was an explorer in a world filled with artistic fervor, vibrant street life, and endless creative possibilities. A year later, she and her sister Inez took a courageous step toward independence, sharing a cramped flat in the heart of the city. The apartment, its thin walls a conduit for the city's restless energy, became a crucible for artistic experimentation. In smoky cafes and crowded galleries, Melania's early designs began to speak of her unique vision, one that fused the textures of Slovenian folklore with the sharp, edgy aesthetics of modern fashion. Her academic journey briefly led her into the world of architecture at the Faculty of Architecture and Civil Engineering. For one transformative year, she delved into the principles of design and structure, learning how lines, curves, and spaces could convey emotion and purpose. Yet, the magnetic pull of the modeling world was too potent to resist. A chance encounter at a school show changed everything. A photographer with a discerning eye recognized not only her physical grace, but also the depth of her creative spirit. The photographer's card, crumpled and ink-smudged, was more than just a contact. It was a ticket to a world that she had long envisioned. Abandoning the safe, predictable path of academia, she embraced the unpredictable realm of fashion and photography, a decision that would shape the rest of her life. Her modeling career began with humble local gigs, small ads for neighborhood shops, and runway walks in dimly lit halls, where every step was a triumph against mediocrity. Each assignment was a building block, reinforcing her belief in her own potential. Her big break came unexpectedly, a competition sponsored by an Italian tea company that promised more than just a fleeting moment of fame. The prize, a film role that would etch her image on the silver screen, carried with it the bittersweet taste of ambition. When the project soured under the weight of the director's leering suggestions, she walked away with her dignity intact. The incident taught her a valuable lesson. Her value could never be measured by the invasive scrutiny of others. In a symbolic act of reinvention, she altered her surname from Knavs to Knaus, a small but significant change that hinted at a rebirth on the international stage. Europe soon unfurled its diverse tapestry before her. Italy, with its sun-dappled studios and passionate artistry, became the first stop on her journey beyond Slovenia. In Austria, she found beauty in the crisp mountain air and the precision of Viennese elegance, while in France, the chic world of high fashion and subtle sophistication captivated her. At 22, Her talent earned her a contract with Milan's RV Recall agency after a magazine contest, an achievement that, although fleeting, opened doors to high-profile shoots in Paris, Vienna, and beyond. In 1993, an unexpected opportunity to play America's first female president in a bold, experimental project foreshadowed the surreal paths her life would take. Paris, with its rain-slicked streets and bohemian allure, became her temporary home, where she shared a modest flat with Victoria Salat, a free-spirited sculptor whose laughter echoed along the Seine and whose presence imbued the space with creative energy. Then came a fateful Milan evening in 1995. Under the golden glow of an upscale event, Paolo Zampoli, a titan in the modeling industry known for his transatlantic influence, spotted her. His husky voice, laden with promises of a brighter future, offered her the possibility of New York. It was an invitation that would launch her into a whirlwind of ambition and transformation. With a mix of excitement and trepidation, she embraced the challenge and, at 26, boarded a plane that would change her life. New York was nothing short of a tempest, a city that roared with energy, ambition, and the raw intensity of countless dreams clashing in the urban jungle. Her modest Union Square flat, with its peeling paint and sagging mattress, became the battleground where she fought to carve out her space among the glittering giants of the city. The early days were marked by grueling schedules and the constant pressure of maintaining a tourist visa until a hard-won H-1B visa granted her legal footing. Her breakthrough in New York came in the form of a bold cigarette campaign, shot by the legendary Helmut Newton. The image of her face, larger than life on a Times Square billboard, symbolized a metamorphosis from a small-town dreamer to a formidable presence in the world of fashion. Ringstone magazine soon chronicled her ascent, its glossy pages reflecting the sheer determination that had propelled her forward. With each new assignment, her portfolio swelled, a mosaic of high fashion shoots, international runway shows, and campaigns that captured the very essence of ambition. Yet, America was more than a land of professional opportunity. It was a crucible for personal reinvention. In 2001, the secure grip of a green card solidified her status. The rumors of an Einstein visa swirled in hushed tones among industry insiders. Modeling critics questioned her unconventional path, but she refused to be deterred. Each challenge was met with quiet resolve, a steadfast focus that saw her through the choppy waters of fame and scrutiny. By 2006, she had taken the final step in solidifying her American dream, a solemn naturalization ceremony attended by friends and a few trusted confidants, where her oath of citizenship resonated as a triumph of perseverance. That same transformative year also saw the arrival of Barron, her son with Donald, a man whose own name would soon carry an entire legacy. Their first encounter was charged with a magnetic energy. Donald's assertive charm clashed with her cool reserve, each glance an unspoken negotiation of power and affection. Their relationship, born at a Zampoli party in 1998, would unfold in a series of tabloid headlines and quiet, deeply personal moments. When Donald pressed for your number with a swagger and a disarming grin, Melania's measured response and the thoughtful delay before calling set the tone for their evolving romance. Over time, their clandestine meetings gave way to a full-blown partnership that culminated in an intimate proposal on her birthday in 2004. A moment captured in the soft glow of candlelight and whispered promises. The wedding that followed in January 2005 was nothing short of a cinematic spectacle. Hosted at Mar-a-Lago, the celebration was a dazzling display of opulence and artistic vision. Chandeliers hung like frozen droplets of light, and her John Galliano gown flowed like a cascade of silk, earning her a spot on Vogue's coveted cover. The guest list read like a who's who of global elites. Pop stars with platinum records, world-class athletes, and moguls who moved in circles where private jets were as common as conversation. Every detail, orchestrated by the meticulous Preston Bailey, spoke of a new era for Melania, a moment when personal ambition and public spectacle intertwined. Motherhood deepened her character and reshaped her priorities. As she cradled Baron in her arms, she rediscovered the delicate balance between duty and desire. Rejecting the lure of hired help, she rocked him to sleep to the gentle strains of Slovenian lullabies, interwoven with familiar English nursery rhymes, a poignant blend of her past and present. At the same time, she ventured into entrepreneurship. In 2010, Melania timepieces and jewelry debuted with sleek designs that echoed the simplicity of her hometown, captivating audiences on QVC and beyond. A skincare line promising luxurious rejuvenation followed soon after. However, a bitter legal tangle with New Sunshine forced her to engage in a high-stakes lawsuit for $50 million, a battle that she eventually won through a discreet settlement. Each victory and setback further honed her resilience, reinforcing her belief that her true wealth lay in the strength of her convictions and the love that tethered her to Baron. When Donald's presidential aspirations took center stage in 2016, Melania found herself at the crossroads of personal privacy and public duty. Initially content to linger in the background, her world shifted dramatically when her speech at the Republican convention, dogged by accusations of plagiarism, forced her into a spotlight she had long avoided. The controversy over those disputed words, linked to Michelle Obama's inspirational rhetoric, became fodder for a media frenzy. Yet, even as critics dissected every syllable, she remained a pillar of stoic resolve. Her Be Best initiative, championing children's health, and a stand against bullying, was not merely a public relations campaign. It was a heartfelt mission, born from her own struggles as a young girl, threading fabric under her mother's guidance. Visiting schools and shelters, her presence radiated the same quiet determination that had carried her from the modest streets of Sevnica to the marble corridors of power. As the years wore on, life at Mar-a-Lago gradually transformed from a public stage to a more reflective retreat. After 2021, the political whirlwind had settled enough that Melania chose to step back from the relentless glare of the media. In the hushed halls of the historic estate, she nurtured Baron's budding interests and cultivated a quieter life away from the glare of cameras and punditry. Rumors abounded. Some said she was drawn back to fashion. Others whispered that she was focusing on philanthropic endeavors, or even planning a memoir that would reveal the hidden depths of her journey. Yet through it all, one truth remained constant: the extraordinary resilience of a woman who had reinvented herself time and again. From the colorful walls of a modest Sevnica apartment to the labyrinthine complexities of New York's fashion industry and the incandescent lights of Mar-a-Lago, Melania's life was a tapestry woven from threads of ambition, heartache, triumph, and quiet rebellion. Her story, filled with clandestine baptisms, stolen moments of artistic expression, and the ceaseless pursuit of dignity, served as a reminder that behind every headline and every glossy photograph lies a deeper, more intricate narrative. As she continued to navigate the spaces between personal freedom and public expectation, the world watched, captivated by the mystery of a woman whose journey was far from over. A journey that promised new chapters of reinvention, quiet courage, and the unyielding power of dreams.